it made me realise that, you know, when those situations arise, when you have something which is really groundbreaking, let's say it's an amazing book, you know, we all like to give book recommendations, or a movie you've seen that was just mind-boggling, and, you know, you're just so keen for that other person to experience for themselves, you know, not for your benefit, for them to relive your experience, but for their benefit. You know, I really think you've got to give, not tell. Pixie, sit. Ready? Good morning, world. Morning walk, episode 43, I think. Beautiful Monday morning here in Sydney. T-shirts. And more nice padded jacket, not necessary since we're coming into the summertime. And spiders are back. Go all the way back to episode 1. And that was shot at like spider time of year as well. It's basically 2 times a year in Sydney when the spiders come out, sort of at the start of summer, and then again at the end. You end up with like all these webs everywhere. And unfortunately on the morning walk, sometimes you kind of run into stuff. Definitely the other part of the year is a little bit worse because it's dark, so if you're not paying attention, you tend to pick them up. Those little spiders now. This is a golden orb weaver. I don't really like these ones. She's only small. She'll grow to probably 4 or 5 times that size. It's kind of incredible how these things have evolved. Can't say I'm the biggest fan. I was down at the beach yesterday with a friend, North Kirko, amazing part of the world, and we were talking about running. So I've become a runner in recent years, which has been awesome. But I think one of the things that happens if you become a runner, you know, not in your teens and 20s, is that it becomes very hard to recover. It's a sport that's quite brutal on your joints, your muscles, that sort of stuff, if you're not used to it. And he was saying that, you know, he's gone very quickly from running like 1 kilometre a day or 2 kilometres a day up to 10 kilometres a day, which is quite a lot inside 1 month. Usually when you start a new exercise or sport, your body goes through this phase which is called anatomical adaptation, which is essentially the first couple of months where, you know, all your tendons and muscles kind of have to get used to acting and firing in the right way for that particular sport or exercise. So in the case of running, you know, when I started, I was a cyclist, big cyclist, so I was quite fit, but I wasn't used to running, so like all those tendons around my knees and hips and ankles weren't very strong. And it literally takes about 2 to 3 months anatomical adaptation for your body to really get used to an activity. So if you start doing something like running straight off the bat, and you go from running 0 kilometers to running, I don't know, 10 kilometers a day, and you do that inside 1 month, it's just too much for your body, and inevitably you get injured. And that's actually what had happened to my friend. He sort of hurt something on his foot. And we're talking about it, and so I was explaining this kind of physiological phenomenon, anatomical adaptation, and then I told him about the best thing that I've bought in the last like 5 years that cost next to nothing, and that's like this blue spiky ball. And blue spiky ball is basically used for massaging, like either massaging your feet or massaging like your back or or different muscles, particularly like your glutes, your butt. It's fantastic. And what you do with this thing is you put it under your feet and you roll your feet over it. It basically like relaxes your feet incredibly. And then that releases the pressure on your calves, and then because your calves are more relaxed, that releases the pressure on your knees and on your hamstrings, your quads. This blue spiky ball, dead set, for about $15 has changed my life. After I finished explaining the blue spiky ball to my friend, which has literally completely changed my life, he kind of goes, oh yeah, I should give that a bit of a try sometime. You know, in that kind of way where you've given someone like a restaurant recommendation, and you know 100% as soon as you've told them that they're not going to take up that recommendation whatsoever. Which is of course everybody's choice, right? Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people feel like they want to relive their lives through others, and you know, if somebody doesn't take up their recommendation, then that's like a personal affront. It's not that at all. But sometimes you do come across things which are just so groundbreaking for you that you just really want to share them. And I guess in this case, it made me realise that, you know, when those situations arise, when you have something which is really groundbreaking, let's say it's an amazing book, you know, we all like to give book recommendations, or a movie you've seen that was just mind-boggling, and you know, you're just so keen for that other person to experience for themselves, you know, not for your benefit, for them to relive your experience, but for their benefit. You know, I really think you've got to give, not tell. I'm a big believer in giving away copies of books that I've read that have been amazing and transformative for me in different ways. And it made me realise yesterday that, you know, the blue spiky ball is no different to giving away a book, you know. I should actually jump on the internet and buy one of these things for $10 and give it to my friend. Why? Well, because if it has as much impact on him as it did on me, that's pretty awesome, right? So what a freaking amazing gift to give somebody for $10. And that way, you know, you stand a much better chance, I suppose, of somebody actually kind of listening to that advice, taking it on, maybe giving it a go. So that's my thought for today, is that when you come across those moments, something that you are just so enamored with, you think it's incredible and you want to share it, you know, don't just talk about it, don't just tell people about it, but actually go out and literally share the physical thing that you're talking about. So if it's a movie, buy your friend tickets to that movie. If it's a book, buy them a copy of the book. If it's a blue spiky ball, buy a blue spiky ball and give it to the person. Because literally, if it's had that much impact on you, and for such a minimum investment, you can have that same impact on somebody else, why wouldn't you do it? And that way, you know, you're really working genuinely on your friendships by not only talking about it, by actually putting it into action and, you know, literally handing over what's worked to you, to your friends. Anyway, glorious day in Sydney. It's a Monday, so into the office. Can't wait for whatever you're getting up to today. I hope it's a good one, and I'll see you next time on the morning walk. Cheerio.